we as Egyptians have been saddened by the news of this air crash. Secondly, of course, I understand that the Prime Minister flew to the crash site, and as you just mentioned, Madam President Sisi presented the condolences of Egypt to Russian President Mr. Vladimir Putin, to the families of those who perished in this crash, as well.
Prime Minister Sharif Ismail, accompanied by several ministers, arrived at the Russian planes, held a meeting with the Minister of Defense, General Said Isopi, and the Commander of the Air Forces, where he was briefed on. He also said that search and rescue teams found the plane's wreckage south of El Arish in the Sinai Peninsula. Now, the black box has also been found. What are your expectations regarding some of the information that has already been received, and how do you view the formation of this work group of ministers and specialists that have gone to North Sinai to view the wreckage?
Well, this was a quick response, a quick reaction on the part of the Egyptian government at the level, and of course, under these sad circumstances, there are certain measures that are adopted in order to facilitate the repatriation of the bodies and to ensure proper identification. And I'm sure that Egyptian authorities would extend all help and assistance possible to the Russian counterparts, Russian mission arrived in Egypt.
Indeed. Your Excellency, the Russian embassy in Cairo also confirmed that there were no survivors, and they said that specialists from their side will be landing as soon as possible in order to start the investigations and to see that a special commission is on the ground. Now, the Kremlin said that Putin also ordered his government to launch a special commission and sent rescue teams to Egypt to work at the plane's crash site. How do you view the collaboration between Egypt and Russia and the cooperation from the Egyptian authorities to enable the Russian investigators to do their job at the crash site?
I have no doubt that Egyptian authorities would extend all possible help and would cooperate with the Russian counterpart in the context of the excellent bilateral relations existing between the two states and the very good personal relations between President Sisi and President Putin. Once again, we present our sincerest condolences on this very sad incident.
Indeed. Mr. Ambassador, the Russia's investigative committee said it had launched a criminal probe into any possible violation of air safety rules, and it is also sending investigators to see the specific issue. How do you view this launch of a criminal probe?
Well, of course, we cannot prejudge the investigation, the results of the investigation. Definitely, it's not only the responsibility, but also in the to the advantage and to the benefit of Egyptian-Russian relations that the causes of this air crash would be investigated and would be communicated to the Russian people as well as Egyptian people. Of course, the deceased were our guests, they were tourists, and we cherish Russian tourists. And really, Egypt has become a favored, one destination favored by most Russians. And let's hope, Madam, that such an accident won't be repeated.
Indeed. Your Excellency, Mr. Ambassador, in another development, police in Sinai have also taken action. They announced the state of high alert, with various forces being deployed at the entrances and exits of the governorate following the plane crash. And a security source said the head of the Suez Security Directorate, General Gamal Abdel Baria, has inspected the Ahmed Hamdi tunnel and the forces deployed there. Do you see that enough is being done by the governorate itself, and what more assistance can be provided, not just by the governorate, but the Egyptian government?
Well, I guess as far as the security measures are concerned, I guess the Egyptian government is adopting all necessary measures. And when it comes to security affairs, I prefer to leave it to the officials, to the officials at the Ministry of the Interior and the Ministry of Defense, and I'm sure they will carry out the job properly and efficiently.
Indeed. Now, Russia's transport minister and the head of Russia's air transport agency are also making their way to the crash site. There has been talk of a technical problem with the aeroplane itself, and already question marks are coming up regarding to technical issues, and the company operating the airline is expected to release a statement soon. How do you view the possibility that it is a technical problem that came from the airplane itself, not originated on the trip itself?
Well, as I said earlier, I prefer to leave this to the investigators and to the officials and to the authorities, both in Moscow and in Cairo. That usually takes time to determine the causes of the of air crashes. And don't think it's different in this case. And as I said, I personally I prefer to desist from any comments on this as far as this point is concerned, Madam, waiting for the official investigation to come to a conclusion.
Indeed, Mr. Ambassador Hussein Haridi, former Assistant Foreign Minister, thank you very much, sir, for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, and we will take a very short break and we'll be right back with more updates. Do stay tuned.
Be the first to know. The news live at the site of the event. Information on events as they are happening. If it's great, it's Nile TV. Have you got a good story? Get in touch with Nile TV. Send us your videos, pictures, and stories. Email us on our website. Contact us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. And also Google+. Be part of making the news. Only on Nile TV International. For ads on Nile TV, Egyptian Radio and Television Union, the economic sector, info@nileinternational.net, or call us on the following numbers.
Nile TV International is your gateway to all the breaking news events across the world.
We're the most constant news service of the world. We make all the difference.
The entire world is shifting towards social media. That's why we're following you and we're capturing the latest.
We provide you with minute-by-minute updates of the latest events happening around the world.
Reading beyond the news.
Catching the news and following the latest and the most significant events.
You'll still be in the majors. It will be just a different sport.
News updates minute by minute. Where we have been, where we stand now, and where we want to be in the future.
Whatever is making the headlines will bring you the story.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Still joining you on this afternoon, The World Today, and still discussing the Russian passenger plane that was carrying 224 people, 217 passengers and 7 crew members, which crashed in Sinai in the early hours of this morning, killing all on board. Now, the Russian embassy said that there were no survivors, and the Egyptian authorities also confirmed that there were no survivors on board of the doomed plane that crashed in North. The news also said that the plane crashed from an altitude of 31,000 feet, causing parts of it to catch fire, and it left scattered body parts of the victims, which are now trying to be identified. Now, I'm joined over the telephone by Dr. Ali Kamel, political analyst. Dr. Ali?
Hi, how are you? How are you?
A very good afternoon to you, sir. Dr. Ali, the Prime Minister Sharif Ismail was accompanied by several ministers, and they arrived at the Russian plane's crash site to follow up on the situation there. The search and rescue teams found the plane's wreckage in the Sinai Peninsula. Now, for his part, the Russian president and the emergency ministry to dispatch rescue teams to Egypt to work at the plane's crash site. Of course, there's a lot of collaboration between Russia and Egypt in order to enable rescue teams and investigators to work on the ground. How feasible is this at this current phase of investigation, in your opinion, Dr. Ali?
First of all, I'd like to send my condolences to families and to victims' families, and I'm very sorry of what happened for the passengers. And I think that the relationship between Russia and Egypt is a very, very good relationship, and we like very much Russian people, and we are very, very, very sorry for because this represents for us and for Russia and for Ukraine a very big loss. And we, as you know, this is a very big accident, and it doesn't happen all the time. But we like to repeat to the families in Russia and to the embassy our sorry for this accident. especially it happens in Egypt, in North Sinai, and especially the people victims are very important. So I think investigation, as you mentioned, are very simple, and I think we will know. For the time being, we don't know exactly what happens, but with the investigation, we can understand what happens. Maybe some trouble in the airplane, maybe mechanical problems or engineering problem in the airway, or I don't know, because I am not a specialist of mechanical engineering, but maybe there are some problems, and revision will and the what you say, the black box will show us a lot of information about the causes and of the accidents.
Indeed.
Yes.
Indeed. Now, there are ongoing consultations with Moscow on the Russian plane crash, and the ministers, 6 ministers have worked a group have been formed to follow up on the Russian plane crash. The cabinet spokesman, Hussam Qawish, announced the formation of this work group, and they include ministers of aviation, tourism, interior, social solidarity, health and local development, as well as representatives from the ministries of defense and foreign affairs. How important do you think this work group that has been formed by the Egyptian government is in order to facilitate any recovery operations on the ground at the site of the plane wreckage?
Of course, this is a very important decision and group teamwork. And as you know, when we work in teamwork, we can have more quality on the investigation. And I think it's a very good decision from the Egyptian government, especially that you have a representative of tourism and of the local authorities. And I think the Russian people, we like them very much, and we are so friendly with them, and they like Egypt. And so, first of all, this crash is for us a loss from our tourists, our Russian tourists who love Egypt and the Red Sea and the Mediterranean Sea. We are very, very sorry for these problems. And as you know, haphazardly or some fans or some problems sometimes in airplanes gives situation dramatic like this. But this is fortunately not all the day, all the time. This happens accidentally, and I hope that we can find the reasons or the causes of this. But I think the most important thing now is the emotion of the families and the emotion created by the crash, and we have to look for this as a big problem, of course. But as soon as we don't know the reasons, we cannot anticipate the decision or the complication of the situation.
Indeed.
But I think we need some psychologists or some psychiatrists or some people who are psychoanalysts who bring the families on these places and trying to make what we call debriefing for taking the emotions, the families of the victims.
Indeed, I'm sure that the Egyptian authorities will have such professionals on standby, especially as they start to receive families of the victims. Dr. Ali, a quick final question as we wrap up. The Prosecutor General, Councillor Nabil Sodo, has also ordered a rapid and immediate probe into the crash of the plane. He assigned a prosecution team to head to the site to investigate the plane's wreckage and delegate the concerned technical teams to determine the cause of the accident. Also, North Sinai's first attorney ordered that the wreckage and the black box of the plane be confiscated to determine the cause of the accident. He said that an investigation team has been assigned to probe the communication between the plane and the control towers, as well as the conversation between the pilot and his aides. And the investigation team has already headed to the crash site to investigate the wreckage in North Sinai. Now, as we start to receive reports and as the black box has been recovered, hopefully some light will be shed on the actual reason behind this tragic event. Russia's foreign minister has already applauded Egypt's effort in dealing with this doomed plane. Finally, Dr. Ali, the Russian foreign minister, the Russian president, and the Egyptian president are all collaborating and speaking to each other on how to deal best and how to find out what the cause of this wreckage was. How important is this transparency between the leaders and the officials in charge in order to get results? Because at the end of the day, families of these victims want answers.
Of course, the family are very, very important, and we have to have, as I told you, psychologists and professionals like us, for example, to help debriefing the emotions of the family. As soon as the Prosecutor General, the attorney, and the investigation will be here in the few hours in the future. And as you told us, the question about the pilot and the control tower and the tragic situation, of course, we are in a moment of crisis now, but in a few hours we will see more clear. And the relationship between the Egyptian President Sisi and Putin, President of Russia, will be very important, of course, to cooperate between Russia and Egypt to help families and psychological and psychosocial situation in this tragic situation.
Indeed.
But what I can say to the family, of course, and the Russian-Egyptian association friendship, we have the association between many association for friends between Russia and Egypt, and I know them personally. Met them recently in the Ministry of Culture and, and so on. So we are very, very sorry for
Indeed.
accident.
Indeed, Dr. Ali Kamel, oral condolences to our Russian friends and their families. Dr. Ali Kamel, many thanks for joining us. And finally, before I wrap up this afternoon's edition of The World Today, a quick announcement that the Foreign Ministry will be posting updates on the plane and any information on the plane on its Facebook page. So any information can be gotten from this official source. With that, ladies and gentlemen, wrap up this afternoon's edition of The World Today. My name is Angie Meher. Many thanks for watching.